Let me see. All right. I'm live as my arm is blocking the camera. This camera does not look good. We'll see if anybody's awake since it's kind of late. Whoopsie daisy. Oops. Stay. Okay, I'm not going to touch that thing. I don't know if anybody's going to be awake. I usually try to do these live streams earlier. That just didn't happen today. Let me know if you can hear me because I'm also experimenting once again. So just give me a thumbs up if my audio is okay. Should I go harass the kitty? Maybe. All right, cool. Tina's in the house. Hey, Tina. Oh, man. Barefoot and Badass has confirmed. You can hear me. Sharon has confirmed. I'm seeing a bunch of thumbs up. People are like, I finally caught a live stream. So on the West Coast where I am, it's like 8 o'clock. I usually try to get on a little bit earlier so people who are in different time zones, it's not too crazy late for them. I don't think I told you guys that. Hang on. Ugh. Sorry. You guys that the air conditioning in my cab actually does not work. Did I mention that before? And so the guy who was going to come to look at the air conditioning specifically, he was working today in the evening, or he was here today in the evening. Either way, he came to actually look at the air conditioning. And so around the time I would have gone live, number one, he was looking under the hood. So I didn't want to like jump on the live just so that my attention could be there. But it turned out even he found it pretty quickly. It's a hose. So a replacement hose should fix that up for me. So yeah. I haven't really moved or gone anywhere since I got here. I am hooked up to shore power, as it were. I'm basically plugged in. So yeah, I've just been trying to like get stuff done off my list. I've gotten less done than I wanted to just because it's been hot. And in the box, it's not too bad because I have the fans on. They're on right now. I don't know that I need them all on, to be quite honest, because the sun's down now. But it was like super crazy hot. I'm in the dark now. Oops. Nope, I want that. There we go. I'm not going to leave myself totally in the dark. But it's been hot. So honestly, like when it's hot, honestly, I kind of just like sitting in front of the fan. So like early in the morning before the sun is really out, but you have daylight, it's a great time to do tasks. And in the evening, as the sun is going down, is a great time to do tasks. In the middle of the day, I kind of just want to lay in front of the fans because that's the only comfortable thing to do. But I got an email about an opportunity, so I had to put my resume back together today. I worked on that. I hated that. Like I had to dig up the last time I did a recent resume, which was like in 2020 before COVID hit. I had to add my new shows to it because it is a theater-based possible contractual position. I may not get a position, but basically they just sent email blast out to people who they had worked with before. So I needed to send out an updated resume just in case there were any contracts I could get on, in the future. And it's not in California, which I'm like, I would love to go there and work, but I'm not going to. The hard part was like I had to sit down and concentrate on my resume, and I started doing some more research on RV insurance for conversions, because now I know it's not as easy as just calling up, a local insurance provider, and because they don't care what the DMV calls it. It's about if they, as an RV insurance provider, will cover conversions or not. So that's been the discovery in that process. And I actually wanted to do a video this week about that. And I did not get to it at all because I'm just trying to get all these little technical details like clicked off on my list. So updating my resume, still on the search for RV insurance, and working on like the mechanical stuff for the box truck. And that's the primary stuff I've been doing since I got here, in between just laying still in front of a fan because it got hot. There's been a lot of that. I'm going to scroll back because like I was talking. So of course I just saw like the scroll going by and I couldn't keep up with it. I'm reading. That's the only reason I'm being quiet. I always feel nervous when I start reading. It's like I want to catch up with the messages, but I also just don't want to be sitting here staring at the screen. Tina's the Outsider said it's been 90 degrees with 78% humidity. That does not sound pleasant. Sharon Tinnen, did I say your last name right? It's been crazy hot in Arkansas. I used to mispronounce that state all the time. Also, it's jumping on me. Mary Murphy says, hi, so happy to hear you are getting your rig worked on with a great shop. Yes, thank you so much to Carolyn. I don't even know how to thank her. Like, I think she needs, I don't know what to do I don't even know. Like, I'm blown away by just people's kindness in general. And I try to believe there's kindness in the world, like that it exists, but I'm still surprised when it happens. So yeah. Barefoot and Badass said, I totally feel the same way. I chill in bed or go to the library. The only reason I like staying in the box truck is because I can regulate Mickey's situation. So like when it was just me and I didn't have a pet, and that's sort of the mix of having a pet. I never think you should take a pet into a rig lightly, because taking a pet into a rig, it's like having a child who can't go people places. So like if you have a human child, like I used to hang out in Panera Bread when I was just solo without a pet. I'll go in Panera Bread and just hang out. I'd get a cup of coffee. You know, I'd have my laptop open there. A cup of coffee didn't cost that much. They had really comfortable benches. You know, I could do stuff like that when I didn't have a pet. But I can't think about just me. You know, if I need to get him to somewhere that's cooler or add more fans or whatever. So I always want to be working around him, as it were, because that's just part of having a pet. It's like having a child that can't go people places. Like with the child, you can just pick them up and, you know, take them people places. You can't do that with a pet. So I need to make sure, like, you know, he also has a comfortable place to lay and that he's okay, or if I need to adjust things for him. So like, it's way easier to try to regulate this, you know, the space that I'm in with him, as opposed to just going somewhere else to cool just me off. And that's sort of been the difference. Lee says, hey, Dawn, my mother says hello. Hello to you as well. Sarah says, updating a resume for theater is the worst. So many random jobs. Exactly. Like, it's not like, because you don't have a job from like, unless you actually get hired as an employee. And even still, you want to show the work you did. So you can't just have this, I was here for 3 years. And then there's literally a list. It's more like a, so it's like, I did this show and this show and this show in 2019. And I had this particular role where I was either the stage manager, the assistant stage manager, or the production assistant, which all use the same skills depending on how jobs are delegated. So yeah, it's, and there was a show where I could not remember the director's name. And so I was trying to Google it because the theater did not have it listed for their past seasons. And finally I found it. So I spent like 2 hours trying to remember the director who directed one of the shows I did. Yeah, it was kind of, and you don't have these direct supervisors. Like you don't work for like, Bob Wilson. So you can't just put down Bob Wilson. It's like you kind of work for everyone. You work for the director. You work for the, production team. You work for the actors. So it's not just saying like I was, an insurance agent and my direct, supervisor was this person. Like you can't break it down that simple. So yeah, they're unfun to do. Especially because contracts are so short. That's the bad thing the good thing about contractual work is the contract ends and then you can do whatever you want after the contract ends. The bad thing is when you're trying to put those jobs together on the resume, and especially with theater work, trying to like word it in a way that they understand what your skill set is, can be tricky. And because, the expectation is jobs for short periods of time, you just end up with this long list of jobs. And it's so weird. Mark Ellis says my insurance for my box truck is relatively cheap. What kind of insurance do you have? Because the insurance I have is liability, and it's not super expensive. But what I found out is there is a radius of coverage. So if I go too far out, I am not covered because there's a radius of coverage, and also it's only liability. And I'm trying to have more insurance than that, and also, technically, if I'm out of that radius, I'm illegal I'm not illegal. I'm not covered because I'm outside of the radius of my insurance, which I did not discover until today. So I don't even care about cheap. I just want somebody to say yes and have. This isn't even about cost anymore. Like I can't afford something expensive, but cost is not the make or break so much as someone who will actually insure me. As an RV preferably, and definitely with the ability to go further than the radius of coverage I currently have. And I didn't even realize I had that limitation, and it honestly didn't matter because when I got to the box truck, I wasn't going anywhere because I was building it out. So yeah, the cost isn't as big a deal as somebody who will actually insure it in some way that will actually protect me, no matter where I go. Rather that's like commercial for personal use or it's RV or whatever. I just want to be legally insured for the type of traveling that I want to do. So yeah. Do my windows have screens? Yes. All of them have screens. Sharon Tennant said my RV insurance went up when I moved into it full time. I don't care about that's fine. I can't even get anybody to say yes to insuring me as an RV. I want to know there's hope that I can actually have RV insurance. Like price as a priority is like middle. Actually having insurance that is RV insurance, having a company that will say yes and actually insure me as an RV is the problem. I've already gone to the DMV. My DMV tags are already switched over. They do not change the VIN in California as far as I can tell. They just give you a new title. So yeah, I just can't find anybody who will say yes as an RV that is an insurance company. The DMV already gave me new tags. I no longer have commercial tags, but insurance doesn't have to agree with the DMV. Apparently, they get to make their own decision on a conversion. Whereas if it's a factory RV, you can go to any insurance provider you want. So yeah, and honestly, the more research I've done into it, there are people who like the same insurer they had, for their personal vehicle. They called them up, told them what they did, sent them some pictures and had insurance like that. And then on the other side, there are a lot of nightmare stories where people got commercial vehicles, You know, they took them home, they converted them, and they cannot find insurance providers who will cover their conversion. And these are ambulances, buses, box trucks. And it's just part of the journey if you decide to build out something on your own. And so, like, it's just something I have to work through because this was the right vehicle. Like, I have no doubts about that. And there's just complications that have come with that. And I just sort of have to ride that out. I'm reading. Miss Joy says, I'm the same with my two girls, and I'm assuming they're puppies from those cute little puppy emojis. You're an amazing pet mom for thinking about his comfort too. Thank you. Terry, you said you spent your first week in your van. Awesome. Earl Blackman says, in the future, will you be installing more powerful solar panels? I mean, I don't think I have a solar problem at all right now. I would like to get actual batteries and replace the Jackery, and that has more to do with my limitations in wiring things. Because I'm restricted to how the Jackery designed the Jackery 1500 right now. And also the Blue Eddy. Like, I'd rather have an actual battery because I can do more customization with it. The Jackery is fine. The Jackery is working, but I'm not going to add any more solar panels than I have. I have 400 watts of solar on the roof right now. I already added 2 more. And I think the other 2 I bought were not 150 watts. I got them off eBay. I think they were 100 because they're pulling the same as my 2 new panels. Because I have them on 2 separate lines that I can switch out to the power stations as needed. And they're pulling about the same amount of power, which makes me think the advertisement on eBay lied. And those are actually 100 watt panels and not 150. But even still, that puts me 400 watts on the roof. So at this point, and still, like, I still rather, if I have the option to plug in, that means that I can just charge up the power stations via solar and plugging in and leave those charged and run off other power and then just have those fully tapped off when I'm ready to pull out. But like for a few hours a day, I was just running off of my own power from the sun. So yeah, like, but batteries are still like a future goal. It's nothing that's a problem right now. Like I'm perfectly fine with what I have now in the world of power. James, I'm probably late for you, but thank you for checking in. And I understand needing to go to work tomorrow. I'm glad you took some time to just come and say hello. Come and say hello, hello, hello. Everybody's asking Terry how his night in his van was. Mark Alexander, if I ask if I'm going to remodel the cab of my truck, like upgrade the stereo, I have Western General. Is Western General an insurer? As far as like remodel, I don't know if I'm going to do anything that you would call a remodel. I do want to make it nicer. The radio doesn't even work. So like before I consider getting like anything fancy up there, be nice if everything up there worked. And there's a lot up there that doesn't work. So my only priority is actually getting stuff to work. Remodeling the cab beyond exactly what I need to turn over the engine and drive comfortably, which includes the AC and my 12-volt ports, which stopped working, which are probably a fuse. And I know where the fuses are, but I'm just going to wait and we're all going to look at it together. But anyway, those are my priority. If I have 2 working 12-volt ports and AC, honestly don't even care about the radio. The radio is the lowest priority because I've been using a magnetic Bluetooth speaker and just streaming from my phone anyway. So, like, I'm sure in time the cab will get fancier, but it's not remotely a high priority. My only priority right now is to be safely insured, feel mechanically safe, and be able to travel. Like, that's my only priority. I'm sure at some point I'll get itchy fingers about fancy upgrades, but I don't need anything fancier than what I have right now. Like, I basically have what I need. There's some things I need to finish that I haven't finished, but it's honestly almost nothing aesthetic. I did one thing that was a big aesthetic project for me that I finished. But yeah. Oh, no. I'm missing stuff. Hang on. I'm reading. Sorry, guys. I'm very low energy right now. Rescue Dog Crew said, are you going to see Scott Static Camper Van? I need to send him a message. Honestly, I've been so caught up in like projects and like trying to get things lined up. My brain has just been there. I've been totally zoned out on that. Jen C says, so if you were forced to have commercial insurance, can you just list your box truck as your company truck for your, I assume, YouTube channel? Well, I have commercial insurance. That is the insurance I have. It does have a limited radius, which I didn't realize, which kind of makes sense because a lot of time these trucks are used for deliveries or stuff like that. I'm not against commercial insurance. I just want to know I'm insured wherever I go. And at this point, it's about whatever makes the most sense and knowing what the limitations are. I am happy with the truck just being covered and self-insuring my stuff. But right now, the problem is the insurance I have, and I called them about making changes. It covers a limited radius and it's only liability. I'm not even pressed about the commercial part. It's not going to cover me traveling the way I want to travel. And that's a little bit scary. You know. Earl Blackman, yep, I got a big old no from AAA Insurance. They also told me blatantly, much like what is it? Good Sam, that I don't qualify for towing under AAA Plus RV. AAA doesn't have to cover conversions at all. And it seems they're mostly not interested in it. Marty Maloney, they are telling me no. I literally go, Ford E350? Okay. Yeah, it's a box truck conversion. All right, let me check real quick that we cover those conversions. Hold on for a second. Go off. La, 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 music. Agent comes back. We don't cover those kind of conversions. Not, you have to do this. Not, here are some additional things you have to do. We don't cover those type of conversions. We don't get to titling. We don't get to searching the VIN. Most of the conversations have ended at box truck. We don't cover it. That's it. End of conversation. If it started as a box truck, we don't cover it. We don't care what you did to it. Whoops. Paulette says, I have my own address now, so if you ever need a driveway, surfware, whatever, you can text me. I think some words got inverted. Thank you, Paulette. Oh, dang it. I should have actually connected with you before I rolled out. Mary Kane said, gosh, girl, you were so smart. If I tried wiring anything, my toilet would flush when I used the toaster. LOL. Baby Boomer Betty says, not seen you in a while. Where are you? I am in Southern California. At a shop down here. It's a muffler shop, but Carolyn, who is one of my subscribers, you know, she's offered her resources and her connections to me. So I'm getting all the things checked out on the truck that I can. Everything she can offer me a resource for, I'm basically down here to take advantage of, just to make sure I am in the best possible condition to travel. Novel Culture! Great to see you in the chat. What's up? Judith asks if I've started on my bathroom situation yet. I've had my composting toilet done for a while now. It's totally done. I just haven't gotten there with my build diary videos yet, but it was done before I started the trip down here. JK says, would it help to start over in another state? I don't know. Because I even contacted just general RV insurers that insure in multiple states. And like I said, a lot of these people haven't asked me. Some of them asked me if I was in California. Some of them haven't. The biggest thing has been, what kind of vehicle is it? It's a box truck conversion, and the conversation. So yeah. Jen C says, if your business takes you cross country, then the commercial insurance should insure wherever you go, at least in my uninformed opinion, LOL. I mean, and maybe it's just a question of like finding a different commercial insurer. I just know the insurance I currently have, which was let me be able to drive it home and do the build insurance. You know, it was what I could get for that situation without paying a bunch of money. Like, I've just found out if I'm outside of a certain radius, I actually don't have coverage. So yeah, what it should do, it doesn't do by default. And I actually called them to try to get roadside coverage through my insurance, and they told me they couldn't give me roadside insurance on this type of vehicle. So like I said, if it's commercial insurance with a different insurer than the one I have now, and I don't want, there's certain details I won't say while I'm in the middle of an insurance search process, both for my own protection and otherwise. So I'm speaking as loosely as I can about this, for self-protection and otherwise. The insurance I have right now has some limitations, and therefore I need to continue to explore my options. And so, like, I've been looking, honestly, at a lot of schooly forums and schooly blogs for information, just to see what other people's experiences were, because that's the most common commercial vehicle. And I've seen a lot of the same problem repeated there. Box trucks and ambulances and other types of commercial vehicles are a little bit less common. So yeah, I'm just gathering resources. And like I said, with the same insurance company, some people have had incredibly easy experiences and other people have had difficult experiences. And also there's people who've gotten covered and then something happened and things got weird. Like, there was a woman who commented on my post who had an ambulance and she was covered by Good Sam and she was listed as a conversion, covered by Good Sam, and then when she needed to be towed, she was told they didn't cover towing because it was a conversion, not because it was an RV, not because they don't tow RVs under their insurance policy, but they don't tow commercial vehicles, as in vehicles that were born commercial, even though it was covered by their RV insurance. I don't want to tell her story because it's not my story, but she left that comment in my community post when I posted about my conversation with Good Sam. So it's just a complicated process. And then I saw this other video where this woman had a schoolie. She called her insurance provider, told them exactly what she was doing. And as soon as she got through the process with the DMV, she called them back and they gave her RV insurance. No problem. So the range is there. If you don't have something that came out of the factory as an RV, it could be like super simple, like no problem flipping, and it could be really, really hard and difficult. And all you can do is not get up and keep trying until somebody gives you a yes. And you have the coverage you need, which I think is like the bigger priority. Like, what is the coverage you need, and who's going to say yes? So yeah, it's just a journey. I'm on it. At the right point, it'll resolve itself, hopefully. Liz says, thank you for the $5 super chat, Liz. Bob Wells did a video on good insurance on a box truck. Great job on the conversion. I'll have to search for that video. Okay, it's been a half hour. Tina, if you need to sleep, sleep. It's very late for you. Lady Debbie as Vanlife, I missed your $1.99 super. It's adorable. Well, number one, just remember this whole situation probably will be state affected. But I would honestly talk to like, I would reach out to Schooliana, because that's his thing, is schoolies. So maybe Isaac has some information that would be helpful, especially on schoolies specifically, but he is in Oregon. So like, who knows what that situation is like and how it would vary from state to state. Like, it may vary where you're building it. Yeah. I'm reading comments. Kimberly 58, Progressive RV does not cover conversion of box trucks, at least. They gave me a hard no. They're on my list of, I'm not trying any of the big providers, because all the big providers basically told me no. So we're talking about your Progressives, your Geicos, your Allstates. I'm looking for like people who specialize in RV insurance at this point, because all the big providers told me no. Like everybody you've seen commercials on TV told me no. So I'm specifically trying the RV insurance route and the broker route, because everybody who's done this have had more success either going through brokers. In fact, there's somebody I'm talking to on the phone tomorrow, or going through like insurers that specialize in RV insurance. So yeah, and a cargo trailer is not the actual vehicle. So I think some of the hesitance with box trucks is a weight thing. Now you can argue that Class A's and Type C's are also very heavy vehicles. I don't know what it is. They feel like there's like more of a liability thing possibly when you're dealing with something that was like a commercial box truck, as opposed to the exact same cab, the exact same size on something that left the factory as an RV. I don't know, but that's just some of the maybe whys I've been hearing. Thomas says, good info on the insurance process. Keep us informed, as I'm converting a multi-passenger turtle top van and will need insurance upon completion. Well, the good thing about it being a passenger van, I'm assuming it's already non-commercial. I'm assuming. Because a lot of the times with passenger vans, especially, families buy those. And so like my Chevy Express, I had no problem. And that started out as a conversion passenger van. So I had no problems having insurance on that, could have got towed clear across the country. So you just may be in a better place. Now, I don't know about like if you fit to RV, like if that's a goal, but either way, like even if you get personal insurance with some extra property protection, it's probably going to be easier because I'm assuming it's already a personal vehicle in its birth records. Now it's possible it was commercial, but it's usually less so with passenger vans. Cargo vans sit on the borderline, which Sprinters are cargo vans, guys. ProMasters are cargo vans, guys. And Ford Transits are cargo vans. Now they sit right on the borderline and could go either way depending on how you acquired them, what their life was before you got them, et cetera, et cetera. And their weight class isn't crazy to what normal people normally drive. Once you start to get above that is where it starts to get weird, at least from an insurance perspective. So you may have a much easier time with a turtle top passenger van, especially if it's already a personal use vehicle as opposed to a commercial vehicle. The weirdness is specifically about that started as a commercial vehicle life. A last name, I know who you are. I did not think of forgot. All right, I'll add that to my resources to explore list. Christy, oh my goodness, thank you for the $4.99 super chat and that really super adorable sticker. How's Mickey? Come here, bud. Come here. He's gonna be mad at me because he was laying on the fridge. He's like, if I was laying on the fridge, chilling out, and you're making me be on camera, say hi. Say hi. How you doing? How you doing, my love? He's not in the mood right now. Oops. Oh, Jesus. I shouldn't have moved it. That's why I'm not going to move it. All right. Mickey! That's what I get for touching him. Now he's going to knock this thing over. And it's going to fall. I'm seeing somebody said the video is freezing. It sounds like it's back. Whoops. There goes that. Thomas Thrift says this was a commercial van, originally a 15-passenger van. Is it currently insured personal or commercial though? Like in your possession? Because that and the size class might make a difference. I don't know. I'm just saying it might, and this is a good thing. It might be easier, but I would start calling now before it's done. Because I just didn't realize how hard it was going to be, or I would have done a lot of research sooner. And just call insurance companies, because a friend of mine is converting a van. And like her insurance company already knows what's going on, and they're just, we'll insure it this way now. Call us back when the conversion's done. And somebody else I know, I not know, but I found their story online. Same thing. They sorry, my brain froze. They called the insurance company when they bought the vehicle, let them know what was happening, and they're like, call us back when the conversion's done. Got insurance right away. And I just didn't do that because I just assumed, if the D gave me RV status, then the insurance company would too. And that just not has been proven to be true. So yeah. External influences says, just saying hi, Dawn. Hello to you. Issa says, it looks so homey now. I'm so excited for the rest of the build series. I am excited to show it. I'm sorry that it's going to be so slow. Rescue Dog Treat says it's glitchy. I wonder if it's the device or my internet connection. What am I connected to, by the way? Let me see. Nope. That's the best possible option. All right. Gene Dumford says, my first transit was registered as commercial for personal use. Yeah. That's an option I've heard of, but I want to make sure all the I's are dotted because technically I'm insured. I'm just not insured outside a certain. It's the point, not to be trapped. And I didn't even realize that when I got the insurance. I realized that today when I was double checking how much coverage I have and trying to figure out what options I had, even just expanding the insurance I already have. So yeah, that's the position I'm in right now. You said you love Mickey. Yeah, that's Mickey's spot right there. There. I love his tail. Like every time I see the stripes on his tail, I just love it. Gwendolyn says, hello, Dom. First time catching a live. Whoa, there goes stupid camera. Hello, Gwendolyn. I'm glad you caught a live. Thomas Thrift says, I held off on insuring the vehicle while it's under construction so I could get it done at completion. You can still call it X questions. And I mean, it's not bad to have it insured while it's sitting still. Something could still happen to your vehicle sitting in a driveway. A lot of people have to insure their vehicles commercial just to drive them home to get it to their driveway. But I would start looking now. Like, I honestly would. You can say, I'm not done. I assume I'll be done at this date. You're not committing to anything. But if you start the process now, you're not done your build, ready to go, and then ending up with a lot of phone calls where you're being told they won't cover your vehicle. And if you do all your research now, you literally know who to call the day it's done. Let me see. Is it working? Karina says, can't hear you. Can people? That scared me. Brooklyn says, how do you deal with kitty litter? I mean, there's nothing to really deal with. I mean, the same way you would in the house. I scoop his box every day and I throw it all away at intervals. Yeah, I mean, like the same way you deal with kitty litter in a house. Deborah on the go says, hi, I just got here. I have a medical transport van I have to change to RV. Good luck on that process. Do your research and try to get ahead on the paperwork part. Like, you have total control over the build. You have lost all control when you're dealing with insurance companies and government agencies. So just do your research on what's required where you are. Issa says, Endless Adventures RV was hit by a semi while it was sitting at the mechanic. Exactly. So that's why you still want to be insured while it's sitting still. I mean, yes, you like the idea of saving money. But even if you're hit while parked and it's not your fault, you still have to exchange insurance information. So, yeah. Okay, I'm getting confirmations that people can hear me. Karina, maybe if you restart the live, like if you go out and come back in, you'll have sound and she can't hear me. So if anybody else wants to recommunicate that message. Earl Blackman also says refresh the screen. Yeah, everybody else seems like it's good. All right, and Veronica GX, does my new shower setup freak Mickey out? Anything where I start pulling a bunch of stuff out annoys him. Because he's like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this, crazy woman? Why are you doing this? All that stuff freaks him out. Laura says, I got Progressive for my insurance on my ProMaster during the build. I can't wait for it to be completed. Yeah, actually, one of the brokers I called was shocked that he could not get me insured through Progressive, but they won't cover a box truck. Because he says whenever he has a van that's converted, that's the first place he goes. So he was shocked that he couldn't make it happen for my box truck. Even though, like, on the title, it says Ford E350 van, because that's what it is. It's a van cab, but it's a commercial van cab. And so the coding in the VIN that says that is endgame. Sarah says, does Mickey ever get energy at night and jump on you or around the box truck at night? That's when he gets his energy. Right now, he doesn't know what I'm doing, so he's just like, I'm going to chill up here. But yeah, night, and it's only 9 o'clock for us. It's not that late. But nighttime he's usually up and about for a while. And because I'm parked in the parking lot, I've been leaving enough of a crack in the cab door that he can just go up there and hang out in the front and like look out the window too, which he likes to do. Like a lot of times he'll just go out there and watch traffic and then come back in and play around. He's very active at night when I'm asleep. And then he sleeps half the day away while I'm awake. External Influences says, I will finally be able to purchase a van or truck to Nomad, and the prices have skyrocketed on them last year when I started researching, but that will not stop me. I'm out, LOL. Yeah, and even with RVs, because like during the pandemic, I'll probably get this video half hidden for even saying that word. A lot of people became interested in traveling in vehicles in your own space. You don't have to go on airplanes with people. However you feel about mask policies, at the end of the day, you don't have to worry about it. You're in your own vehicle. And if you're worried about other people's germs, you're in your own vehicle. So from every side of the things that are going on, it's just easier to travel in your own vehicle. So anything that could lead to that, prices kind of went up, things became scarce, things became hard to find. If you could get it, you weren't getting it cheap. So yeah, that's just been a part of what's going on right now. I'm trying to see if I missed anything when I was scrolling. Risa says, I hope you get the insurance sorted out soon. It's one thing after another, but you'll get through it. Yeah. I mean, like, it's a journey, and I've just accepted, like, so many things I've read has been like, just don't get frustrated. Keep trying. It'll work out, you know? So yeah. Jean Dumford says, obtaining insurance was not easy. I couldn't get it by talking to a live agent okay, sorry, I'm reading who had 3 times the questions beyond the requirements. I took the Florida Law Description RV, then answered the online questions and qualified. I took the law. Are you sure, like, there's not any iffiness in your coverage? Well, the thing also, like, when I go on there, they want me to pick for online, with like the online process, it's very geared towards RV. So it's not like I can be like Ford E350 RV. It's like Ford E350, class A, B, or C. I don't want to say class C. And then when the tow person shows up, they can clearly see it's a converted box truck, because I have heard too many stories of that being a situation where the insurance company felt they were lied to, and then they start tightening up their policies, and that just makes it harder for people who come behind. So I want to be very clear on exactly what I have. Then they can say, and I'm not saying this happened in your situation, but if they feel like they didn't have all the information and they insured you in a situation where they would not have insured you if they had all the information, then you can get yourself in a legal battle for coverage. And I just want to know I'm covered and safe. So either like the online insurance questions would force me to answer in a way that isn't true, not 100%. It's kind of true, you know, like the most comparable thing I am comparable to is a class C. But if they don't have an option that's like other, there's nothing for me to select on like an online forum. And then when I talk to people, all I can do is tell them exactly what I did and see if they'll insure me. And yeah, I'd rather be insured knowing everything on paper said exactly what I am and why I qualify as an RV. So yeah, my questions haven't even been about what's in the RV. It's been like, all right, it's conversion, what kind? Box truck? No. like that's where it ends at. Deborah on the go says, I was told you can buy comprehensive insurance to cover your contents. I haven't asked the insurance company yet. You can get comprehensive and protect the value of your vehicle. And since it's a conversion, probably you're going to set that value and your insurance is going to be based on that. My problem right now is less the liability coverage and more that I found out that if I'm beyond a certain radius for my garaging address, I'm actually not covered. Like if I'm beyond that radius, and that doesn't allow me to travel very much. So that's my biggest concern. Immediate future is that I have a radius that I can't go out of, or I am basically driving uninsured. With my current liability. Otherwise, I just take my time. But that's my biggest like current worry is I didn't realize there was a radius restriction to how far I could go. Now, my liability only covers the vehicle. It doesn't cover anything in the vehicle. But even still, technically, if I'm outside of that radius, I'm not insured because my insurance doesn't cover me beyond that radius. And that doesn't even get into a question of, you know, the fact that this has a bed in it and a cooking area and fridge and all those things. It's just that our insurance doesn't cover you beyond this radius. And that's problematic. Sarah X, what's my favorite part of the build? Is it the bed? I think it's actually that oven back there. Like I use that oven so much. I love having an oven. And no, it's not. I have made cookies in it, but I've made cookies in it like once. I use it all the time because I love the laziness, even though it's not the best option. Of getting frozen meals again. So I guess it's a combination of the freezer and the oven and just being able to put it on a tray and set a timer and being able to eat at the end of that timer. So yeah, I would say just having an oven. And also I'm not a cook. Like I don't do elaborate dishes at all. I'm not a big cook, but I do like the idea of like standing up and cooking. And having countertop space just to sit stuff down when I'm cooking and having that space to spread out. And so yeah, I would say just even having the space to have an oven and stand up and cook at it has been great. there's a lot of things. For some reason, the scroll jumps when things happen. Earl Blackman says maybe insurance is based on what kind of tow truck is. No, because you can get insurance without Roadside. You can just have insurance. Roadside is an extra thing you can add to insurance. So they can insure the fact that you have an accident and not cover if you need to be towed. Like, those two things can exist in different worlds. They don't have to exist together. Because I have insurance. They would not tow this vehicle for free. They would recommend a towing company, but they're not going to cover the tow. And it's commercial insurance. So all of their vehicles are big. And I'm sure if you have a fleet policy, like if you have a fleet of vehicles that are actually being, used all the time for fleet vehicle purposes, rather that's transporting goods or delivery or having a moving, company, that's a different, like you have a fleet of vehicles. So you're probably paying, out, and there is commercial Roadside. A lot of it is like $300 or $400. And again, because it's built for people who have fleets of vehicles, that things are that are commercial specifically. Any way that nomads are using it is, for lack of a better term, a bastardization of the system because we ran out of options. It was the only thing we could get. Commercial insurance is designed under the assumption, especially for vehicles this size, is that it's part of a fleet, not that you have one. And that's why a lot of times to get those extra coverages, the prices are super high because they're assuming they're built for Amazon. Like, Amazon's not going to blink at like $300 roadside coverage for a truck. I'm trying to think of like some sort of big company, but like big companies who do big shipments, like that's a blink on their radar. Whereas if you're an individual, it's a different situation, and there's like commercial roadside programs that are not cheap. And that would cover towing. But as I would hope it would be an extreme emergency situation, putting that money in a savings account every month would probably be more effective than paying like, that much money for a commercial roadside plan. Because again, those things are priced for big companies. Even though there are individual owners. But the thing is, like, when I had like my Chevy van, which was the same size as a cargo van, same size and weight, if it was commercial, AAA wouldn't tow it under my personal plan. Exact same size, exact same weight, because it was a personal vehicle, because it was a passenger vehicle that came out the factory as a passenger vehicle. I never got rejected for any AAA services I used. On this van, with my AAA that I decided to keep, if I need a jump, they'd come out and do that. If I needed a battery, they'd come out and do that. There's all kinds of situations. Everything but towing can be covered under AAA. And as far as AAA is concerned, no matter what the tags say, this is a commercial vehicle, and so it doesn't require it doesn't qualify for AAA plus RV for towing. So I just kept my regular AAA, because if there is something AAA does, it's nice to have that security. Like, they will come out and do everything but tow it. So I was like, let me at least keep this until I'm in a better situation. So right now I'm holding on to that. Yeah, but you can have insurance that doesn't cover towing. Like, they don't have to exist together. Now, if you get in an accident and you can prove it's the other person's fault, you can like, maybe get them to repay your tow, but it's still going to come out your pocket if you don't have roadside on your insurance policy. Mrs. Job says, I have an acquaintance that owns an agency and they're very liberal with coverages. That's good. I don't know what that question is in reference to, so I'm going to scroll. Oh, wait, are these deleted messages jerks? Thank you for moderating them away. The trolls have been beaten by my awesome moderators. So yeah, who do I see in the chat? I know Tina was here earlier, but had to go to bed. But Freedom Dove is here. Princess Pamela is here. ESP and me is here. Whoever's taking down the trolls, thank you for being on it. My moderators are so good. I don't even have to see this troll nonsense. By the time I get to it, it's like gone. Thank you so much. Jennifer said AAA is great for a lockout with Mickey inside. Yes, absolutely. And they will do lockout services. So that's why I've kept my regular AAA, because there's still a lot of stuff that they could do. When I go to AutoZone and O'Reilly's, I hate to say it, but half the time, more than half the time, the people who work in those stores are idiots. They don't know jack. But almost every single guy I've gotten that came out on a service truck or a tow truck via AAA, they were super nice. They went above and beyond. They helped me with stuff. They taught me stuff I didn't know about my vehicles. So those guys have always been awesome. And I feel like my experience with them so far is every time they've come out, they've been willing to do anything they could to make sure I was back on the road. So I've always had positive experiences with the service people that come out, whether it's for battery or jump or anything weird that was going on where I had to call AAA over the years that I've had them. The guys and gals, I've had a gal or two show up, have always been super helpful, say, hey, I got you going, but just to let you know, I saw this, maybe you want to get it checked out. They've been really, really, the people who come out, not AAA as a company, there's complex feelings there, but the actual people that come out, the service people, I've always had a positive experience with them. And there's a lot they can do, minus towing the vehicle. So when I'm calling, I'm like, Ford E350, and as long as it's not a tow, somebody will come out and do as much as they can. Destination California says, AAA unlocked my car so often. One of the super guys knew me and would just get the keys out and bring them to me in my shop. That's awesome. I'm reading, I'm sorry. John Bruce says, consider getting personal property insurance for your camera, computer, and tools. I'm not an insurance person. Yeah, and honestly, my thought is that's also what my savings account is for. So that's also part of the reason to have a savings account. It's so if something happens to stuff, I can replace stuff. But right now, I hate to say it, but it's a low priority. It's if I can get that covered too, great. But my priority, my 100% priority is to know I'm insured anywhere I go in the US, hopefully Canada and Mexico too. and that the vehicle is covered. If I can also get some personal property, great. If I can't, fine. I just want to know if I get into an accident, I am legally insured for the vehicle, and I am allowed to be, I'm not outside of my insurance area if I'm outside of a certain radius. So those are my two highest goals. Like covering stuff would be nice too, but that's what building up my savings account is for. And worst comes to worst, the thing that's going, I've had to live really simple and start from almost nothing before. Worst comes to worst, as long as I can get my vehicle replaced, I'm going to be okay. The rest of it is just bonus extras on top of that. It'd be great to cover it, but if I can't, it's sort of a secondary priority after vehicle coverage and roadside assistance. Those are my two big things. Whoops. Thomas Thrift says, we have Advanced Automotive over here, and those guys are really amazing. That's awesome. Living Right says, absolutely agree with AAA. I've had them over 20 years going back to college when I always drove junkers, LOL. Didn't we all in college? I bought my first car for $2,000. I think like 2 months later, I didn't have a car. And then I spent a few months without a car, and then I got a car again, but it was on a payment plan. Boop, boop, boop. I'm reading. We love you, Penny. It was a mistake, probably. Okay, cool. I'm reading. I have to sing that so I don't look weird and quiet on the video. Rescue dog treats, yes. Let's just say today I figured out I'm outside of my radius, which I didn't realize. Thomas Thrift says sometimes the savings is better money than the insurance, depending on how much the insurance costs when it comes to personal property. Yeah. And it's like, do I need to insure everything, or are there specific things? Like, if I lost cameras, that would suck. Laptop, that would suck. Of course, the build itself costs money. But, like, if I had to start fresh with a vehicle and I had to throw a camping cot in it, like a way to have a computer and a laptop and you know, a cell phone and up from that. Shoot, if I have a cell phone, I can shoot on the cell phone. It won't be great because I've gotten out of the habit of shooting. You know, I can live with not having that if I'm insured and old. Gene Dumford says, I now have a Pleasure Way. Progressive even covers the full replacement. Yeah, because it came out of the factory as an RV. So, guys, consider this. You can buy a factory RV, an old one, and strip it all out and build it back up from the metal. And all you have to do is put the information for that RV in any RV insurer, and you could like not have running water and not have a working stove, but you bought it already as an RV. So even if you strip the whole thing out and rebuild the inside entirely, you can get that insured day one as an empty shell that you got it. But if you convert something that didn't start an RV, you just might have an interesting insurance journey. So yeah, Progressive isn't an option for me. So, you know, it is what it is. Penny says I paid $200 for my first car. Wow, even less than me. But how long did it last is the question. You know, Terry Newell paid $500 for his first car. All right. Some people even went better. Well, it depends on how long it lasts. Did it last you? Like, even if it was a clunker, did it clunk through? That's all that matters. It can clunk through. Gene says my first car was a 1950 Dodge. Awesome. Carrie says, what other van lifers do you follow on YouTube, if any? I mean, the list is smaller, if I'm going to be honest. Because when you're first getting into van life, it's like you're watching everybody. You're watching everybody because you're like, oh my gosh, I just want information. I just want information. And I just want information. And then once you start living it and doing it, your brain kind of switches because you're not looking for information as much. You're looking for entertainment. So there's people I watch because I enjoy them, not because I have questions about a van life and I'm gathering information. So that would be a hard list to quantify. I would say right now I'm watching a lot of not van life videos. And it's not because there aren't people I like. It's just like right now I've been really into like tracking like the Marvel stuff, like a lot of the Marvel stuff that's been dropping on Disney. I've been like obsessed with this comic book channel that I found recently, and there are people I am subscribed to. But I'll be honest in that I'm not watching every video. I watch every few videos now. And what's the other channel I've been watching? Oh my gosh. Let me think. There was something else that's in my head that's gone now. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff I watch on YouTube that has nothing to do with van life. Especially right now. It gives me a break from thinking about the things that are affecting my van life right now. Like, I don't want to think about, you know, when I'm done off of insurance phone calls and thinking about things I want to do to the truck, it's like, ooh, let me watch this animation channel. This is great. A good brain break. Van City Van Life, what is up, dude? I just watched Van City Van Life. I just watched his video about being in the hotel room. Thank you for the $100 Canadian. That's like a gallon of gas in California. No, it's not that bad. It's pretty bad though. Gabby Gibb asks how many miles are on my box van. Right now, I'm sitting around 160-ish thousand miles. So I actually have more miles on my van than what you found. And honestly, like, the Chevy van had pretty high miles. The Toyota had pretty high miles. So what I was told is it doesn't matter, you know, what matters is how the vehicle was taken care of, you know. A well taken care of vehicle, and there's other stuff that can happen, but a well taken care of vehicle, as you're aware of, you know, where it is in its life, you know, it should do you fine. As long as it's not, get it. I'm seeing a lot of people drop what their first vehicles was. This is cool. My first vehicle was like, and this was in the 2000s, but it was like a 92, I think. It was like a 92 Honda or something like that. Terry Newell says the little beater he bought lasted until the kids took it off-roading 10 years. That's good value for your money. Like, if you buy a car that cheap and you get 10 years out of it, who cares? Thomas Thrift says, question for everyone. I stream on Twitch once in a while, but should I start posting videos on YouTube? If so, how often? I don't know how Twitch works because I've never been on it. From what I understand, each platform is just different. Like, YouTube is trying to start YouTube Shorts, and I don't think it's going to stick because it's dumb. They're just copying TikTok. They're like, oh, this is popular on TikTok. Let's try it. It's not. It's dumb. So I would say just experiment with what works for you. Like, I tried posting every day and it nearly killed me. So I was like, okay, I'm never going to be a post every day person. So I experimented with like once a week. I've experimented with 3 times a week. And it also depends on what kind of videos you want to post. Like, do you want to actually edit stuff? Or is this just, hey, I'm going to shoot a video and put it out there? Because like, Tim is who I'm thinking of. Like, a lot of his are point and shoot one shots, which you can get out really quickly. But when you have to like edit videos, when you have to film footage, download the footage, edit it together, export the video that you edited. Do you want to add music? Like, if you want to do all those things, that's going to take more time. And Chrome is some sort of genius that does really well with turning out those kind of videos. But not everybody can be Chrome or Casey Neistat. And it's okay to accept. You're not that person because, you know, some people are just blessed and awesome. All the shout outs to Chrome. Weirdos Unite. External influences. Night. Okay, we're past the hour mark, so I'm going to start wrapping up soon. Gabby Gibb, I'm just reading. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I think you did get a good deal, especially if it was just owned. There was a 15-passenger van that was just owned by like one preschool to transport kids. Like, that was a deal for the price for $2,500. That's a really good price. Whoop, whoop, whoop. All right, lovely people. I'm tired. And so I think it's time to wrap this up. And get some rest. And yeah, Mickey's already resting. Apparently he just wanted to rest up there. I love his tail. It's just, I see the little stripy tail and I just love it. All right. Night, guys. Everybody be safe.